Hello, I'm Peter Towers, Managing Director of ESS BIZTOOLS and ESS Bassett. Welcome to Accountants Minute. Accountants, action is required to assist your clients to reduce debtors' days outstanding. It's nearly 4 months since there was announcements made in Australia that Australia had been awarded the dubious title of having the longest debtors' days outstanding in the world. This was after a survey had been conducted in over 80 countries by a UK organisation. If you contacted your clients and determined what their debtors' days outstanding are, have you already implemented processes, or has all this been caught up in the tax lodgement program? Now, I know the tax lodgement program is very important. I was a practitioner and a partner in a firm for many years. But your clients need some assistance in this very important area. Debtors' days outstanding in Australia are a national disgrace. How can a country like Australia be shown as having the worst system in the world? And that's what's happened. The Australian government small business ombudsman has called this the silent killer of business. And I think she's right. So what are we as a profession of accountants going to do about it? If accountants are truly the trusted advisor, surely you should be talking to your clients and saying, what is your debtors' days outstanding? Many of them will not know how to calculate that figure. So that's the first thing you can do. Show them how to calculate it or do it for them. And from now on, I'd really be suggesting every time you look at a set of financial accounts, whether it's monthly, 3-monthly, 6-monthly or annually, that you make sure you calculate debtors' days outstanding. And then you talk to the client about how you might be able to contribute to reducing the debtors' days outstanding. And I believe it can be done. Just needs a proper approach to organising who's doing what. So there's 3 main areas to concentrate on in an overall debtors review, a campaign to reduce debtors' days outstanding. The first is the debtors management system. Is there one? The second thing is a digital collection process. Is there one? Or are we still relying on letters and phone calls, yet no one's prepared to make the phone calls to ring a debtor that hasn't paid? And a written systems manual. And is there one? My research tells me that very few SMEs have an up-to-date written debtors system. So there's plenty of work there for you to undertake. I think a consultancy assignment of about 1 day, you would earn around $2,000 in fees. And it hasn't got to be done by a partner or a senior manager. So what's in an effective debtors system? Well, in the first place, our recommendation is every year you should conduct a due diligence review as if it was an audit on how effective the client's debtors system is. Then you should look at what happens for a new credit customer. Someone comes to a counter in your client's business and says they'd like to open a credit account. What is the process? Is there a form? Does the form cover everything? Is the form checked? Are the referees contacted? Is there a check to ensure that if it's a private company your client is now dealing with, they're going to get the signed director's guarantee forms and that they are appropriately filed? So in the unfortunate event that if those forms are required at some future date, they're able to be found. Is there a digital system to chase payments to make sure that the customers are paying your clients? For many years, people sent out letters 7 days after the debt was due, 14 days after, and so on. And in some businesses, there was an attempt to make phone calls. But I don't think it was very effective. No one liked doing it. People didn't like sending the letters. I really suggest to you that the IOMDM system is far more effective. It's technology working. No one has to make the phone call. All that your client has to do is to agree on the protocols. When will the first SMS message go? 5 days before the invoice is due for payment. And that raises another very important issue in your reorganisation of your client's debtors system. I think you should scrap debtors statements. If you've already done so, that's great. But are you then inserting the due date for payment on each individual tax invoices that's sent to your customer? And that is the date that the IODM system is going to relate to, because that's the invoice that's due for payment normally in 30 days' time. By sending statements out to people, and invariably many small businesses were late getting their debtors statements out, this gave their customer an excuse to delay payments. There's then further follow-up calls that the IODM system will do, or messages. And you don't have to send these messages by SMS if you don't want to. It could be by email, or in the last resort by letter. The written debtors system manual is a very important component of an overall debtors system. Far too many clients haven't got one. The poor person that has to sit and administer debtors is normally the recipient of hand-me-downs of notes and bits of paper and verbal instructions on what goes on in debtors. Many of them have got no idea what it means. Last year I was acting for a consultancy client, and I gave the new employee a set of written instructions and said to her, that is your role. And she said, you know, I've been working in offices for 35 years. That's the first time anyone has ever given me a systems manual. And she liked it. She knew what she had to do. So I think developing a customised debtor systems manual that suits the requirements of your individual clients is a very important process that you can offer. And in that manual it will cover some of the key issues about checking the application, sending out the welcome to new customer letter, which sets out the terms of trade but also enables a introduction to the team to be conveyed to the new customer. What happens with the terms of trade agreement and the retention of title agreements? This is the appropriate time to be emphasising to your new customer that they have to sign those and return them to you before any goods are delivered. And then the manual would say that internally the person in charge of debtors needs to then take the file to management, who should then be making a decision as to whether to register that particular new customer on the Personal Property Securities Register. Now, if businesses did this in a methodical way, a lot of the problems that businesses all over Australia are encountering at present from liquidators' preferential payment claims would be removed, because various liquidators and lawyers have told me that as long as the client has registered a customer on the PPSR, preferential payment claims letters are ineffective. So a great way to protect your client, because there's a lot of these preferential payment claim letters going out all around Australia, I hear. Now, the Australian government's small business, family business ombudsman, Kate Carnell, is very upset about Australia winning this dubious title of the longest debtors days outstanding in the world. And Ms Carnell has indicated that she's going to talk to government departments and big business about getting them to improve their payment terms. And I think that's wonderful, but there is another very important contributing factor. You will have many of your clients who don't deal with big business or government departments and yet still have large debtors days outstanding figures. I believe that one of the other contributing factors to this horrible award that Australia has been given is that Many of the small, medium enterprise business community have not got an appropriate debtor system. They have not got an appropriate collection system, and they, in most cases, definitely do not have written debtor systems. All these things are contributing to this dubious title of longest debtors days outstanding in the world. Let's do something about it. Let's get rid of the 56.4 days, debtors days outstanding, by being proactive, by really being the trusted advisor to clients and working with them over the next few months to try to reduce debtors days outstanding. We have a special webinar on Wednesday the 5th of April with a keynote speaker, Damien Arena, the Managing Director of IODM. And Damien and I are going to go through this whole debtors process. And Damien, of course, is going to talk about the IODM system. Don't miss it, 12:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time on Wednesday the 5th of April. I'd also like to give you some advance warning of two other webinars coming up. We have a virtual Chief Financial Officer Services webinar on Tuesday 11th of April at 12:30 p.m. AEST. If you want to clearly understand what we envisage the role that you can play as the Chief Financial Officer of a medium-sized or small business, don't miss this. And then the big webinar, the crowdfunding webinar on Thursday the 27th of April at 12:30 p.m. AEST. Crowdfunding has finally been passed by the Senate. The Governor-General signed off 2 days ago. It's law. It doesn't start until September this year, September 2017, but now is the time to get ready. And I would welcome you to participate in that webinar with us. So the challenge that accountants have is to be proactive to assist your small, medium enterprise clients to get their debtor systems in order, to implement 2017 era debtor collection strategies by signing on to the IODM system so that technology can handle the debt collection process, so that overall we can get rid of this very unfortunate title, longest debtors days outstanding in the world. If you've got any questions, please contact us, and we would love to see you become subscribers to our package. We have a special package that we are now launching. The Improving Debtors Days Outstanding package includes the Debtors Systems Manual, the SME Debtors System Manual, a special offer from IODM, a 1-hour mentoring session with yours truly, and a few other things that have been included in the package. That total package is available for $499 including GST. You can find out all the details by going to www.essbassett.com.au and clicking on to Improving Debtors Days Outstanding. Thanks for listening. Have a great day. Goodbye.